If you've ever worked with SAP, you know that feeling, right? That moment when the system just stops working? Well, today we're going to demystify the official fix for those moments, the SAP Note. This is an absolutely core skill for any SAP professional, and we're going to break down exactly how it all works step by step. It always starts here, with a bug. You're in the middle of doing something critical, everything seems to be going smoothly, and then bam, an error message flashes on the screen, or maybe a background job just completely fails. This is ground zero for our entire journey today. So, you've got a problem. Maybe a user is complaining about a weird bug, or you see a system crash in the logs. Now what do? Your first instinct might be to jump onto Google, right? To check the forums. But what's SAP's official plan? What's the first move they want you to make to get a 100% guaranteed fix? Well, that official plan leads us directly here to the star of our show, the SAP Note. And let's be clear, this isn't just some friendly suggestion from SAP. This is their primary official way of delivering super precise fixes, straight from them to you.
So what in the world is an SAP Note? The best way to think about it is like a surgical strike. It's not this huge, massive update that changes everything. Nope. It's a tiny, targeted patch that's designed to fix one specific thing that's gone wrong in the standard SAP code.
And here's something a lot of people get wrong. They think notes are only for fixing stuff that's broken. I mean, yeah, that's their main job. But SAP also uses them to deliver small improvements, or sometimes even to add a little bit of new functionality to get your system ready for a bigger update down the road. Okay, now before you just start applying things left and right, this is really important. Not all notes are created equal. You've got to understand the different types and what their status means inside your system. Trust me, knowing this stuff is the key to not causing even bigger problems. So let's break it all down. You can really think about notes in two simple ways. First, what does it actually do? Is it a corrective note, meaning it's going to get in there and actually change the code? Or is it just informative, which is more like a set of instructions for you to follow? And second, how does it get applied? Is it automated, where the system does all the heavy lifting? Or is it manual, where you have to roll up your sleeves and perform some extra steps yourself? Now, when you're inside the SNOTE transaction, the system gives you a status for every single note. This is where you really have to pay attention. If it says implemented completely or cannot be implemented, hey, you can relax, nothing to do. But if you see one of these three, can be implemented, incompletely implemented, or obsolete version, that's your green light. That's the system literally telling you, okay, it's time to do something. All right, so we've covered the what and the why. Now it's time for the fun part, the how. We're going to walk through the high-level process of actually applying a note using the good old SNOTE transaction code. The whole workflow is actually pretty straightforward. It really just boils down to four main steps. First, you download the note from SAP. Easy enough. Then, you upload that note into your development system using SNOTE. From there, you hit the button to implement it, which applies the actual changes. And finally, and this is crucial, you transport those changes so they can move to your other systems like your QA and production environments. So that last transport step, it works because the system makes you create something called a workbench request. Just think of it like a digital moving box. Since you're changing standard SAP code, this request basically packs up all those changes neatly inside, making it super easy to ship them off to other systems. And honestly, this is the most beautiful part of the whole transport system. You only do the work one time in your development system. When it's time to get that fix over to quality or production, you don't do SNOTE all over again. No way. You just import that moving box, that transport request you already created. It's a true fix it once, deploy it everywhere kind of deal. So applying one note at a time is perfect for a single problem. But what if a new feature requires you to apply like 10 different notes that are all related? That's where SAP's more modern approach comes into play. It's called Transport-Based Correction Instructions, or TCI for short. To get where TCI fits in, just think about scale. On one end of the spectrum, you have a single SAP note for one tiny problem. On the other extreme, you have a massive support package that fixes hundreds of things and is, a huge project. Well, TCI is the just right in the middle. It bundles a handful of related fixes together into one package. So at its core, a TCI is really just a collection of SAP notes. SAP does the work of bundling them all together for you. That way, instead of you having to apply 10 or 12 individual notes one
buy one. You just apply a single TCI package, and boom, you get all of those corrections in one clean, consolidated step.
And that's really the bottom line here. Why should you care about this? It's simple. TCIs give you the power to apply a whole group of related fixes without having to deal with the time, the risk, and all the testing that comes with a full-blown support package. It's just a smarter, more efficient way to keep your system up to date. Whew, okay, we have covered a ton of ground, from single little bugs all the way to these big bundled fixes. So let's bring it all home. Let's focus on the one big thing you should remember from all of this. Here it is. The key takeaway is that applying SAP Notes is not some obscure, once-a-year kind of task. It's a fundamental, totally routine part of keeping your system healthy. Honestly, mastering this process is what separates the good SAP pros from the great ones, because it's how you make sure your systems stay healthy, secure, and reliable. So, we'll end on this. You now have the official playbook for tackling bugs the SAP way. And this knowledge isn't just theory. It's a real tool you can use. So the only question left is, which problem